Fight fans, this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and we are going live as I cruise bars. How's everybody doing today? When you come in, please hit that like button. It activates YouTube to do the job. Of course, a lot of people don't even know that I'm live, that subscribe to the channel, and they hit the bell icon. So the likes do help with something. So hit that like button for me, and we will talk about the legitimacy of being a champion versus being a fighter. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Does being a champion mean what it really means? What does it mean to be a champion? I mean, first of all, that's what we're going to talk about. And we want to talk about what's the duties of a champion when you become a champion. You get the championship, you knock somebody out in the boxing ring, you become champ. You know, like Shannon Briggs, let's go champ, let's go champ, two-time heavyweight champion of the world, I'm back. Let's go champ. What does champ mean? What does it really mean? You know? So, does it mean you sit on your throne? What does it really mean? On Ferry Oaks Boulevard. You know, I heard Tyson Fury. He talks about belts. He talks about what they mean, what they don't mean. And he had a good point. Does the belts make does a sanctioning body that runs that organization, do they run it? Do they run the fighter, or does the fighter run them? Brandon, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. About time somebody drops some lines. By definition, you can't be a champ unless there is some tournament or organization that recognizes you as such. So belts do matter. Okay, well, they matter because there is an organization, the WBO, the IBO, the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF, right? Those are the belts that we recognize. Those are the belts that we know that are organizations, right? That are organizations that, in fact, regulate these belts. But at what point does a sanctioning body become useless? At what point? Which is the most strict sanctioning body? That's easy, Brandon. The IBF. They will strip you if you sneeze wrong. If you talk about ducking a fighter that they have mandatory, they will strip you. Ask Gennady Golovkin. They would have, you know, a lot of fighters, man, they will strip you. They will strip you fast and furious. What's up with the IBO? I don't know. I really don't understand the IBO. All I know is Anthony Joshua pays them. But for what reason, I don't know why. You know, if you notice that belt you see Joshua with, because you see him, he walks around with like 4 belts, right? And the 4 belts, and one of them is the IBO. And I'm thinking, okay, well, what the hell's, what's the deal with the IBO? What do they really do, and what do they really want? What do they really stand for? I don't know. But to be fair, the IBO used to be similar to the WBO. See, the WBO, guys like James Toney, right? Guys like James Toney, they looked at the belt of the WBO as useless. They didn't look at that as a real organization. So maybe in the next 5 years, somebody will come along and make the IBO just as legitimate as the WBO or any other sanctioning body. What do you guys feel about that? Belts don't mean anything to Fury, as he's already held them all. Now, does it matter because he already held them all, or this because they just don't matter? Because he's defended, for the first time in his career, he's defended the WBC. Because he was supposed to fight against Cabello to defend it. But instead, he waited a whole year, knocked out Deontay Wilder, the former WBC champ. And that's, of course, is where we're at, right? We're at that point. Fury doesn't fight White, he is ducking 100%. Well, they're in negotiation now with White, you know, but then White is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. And that's why I asked the question, at what point does does any of these sanctioning bodies become useless? Because the organization, if you find flaw, right, or error, or wrongdoing in the organization, at what point should they become liable? But at what point should you be obeying what they want you to do versus what they done wrong? And we all know by now, White has been sitting around the WBC and doing whatever, paying sanctioning fees, paying these guys, because you guys know, you understand that Dillian White is an interim WBC heavyweight champion. You guys know that, right? He pays sanctioning fees for that right. White could price himself out of a fight with Fury. Well, no. If he does that, that means what they need to do is purse bid. Purse bid settles all that shit. Because all that is people's ego, reputations, and differences come into play. What's up, Kurt? I'm still trying to learn this generation of rules and regulations. Well, the rules and regulations are supposed to come to the sanctioning bodies. Understand something. If the sanctioning bodies did their job, if they did what they're supposed to do, people would be screaming for a national organization. But it's kind of hard to have a national organization in boxing because not everybody is from one nation. You know what I mean? That's why they call it the International Boxing Federation, the World Boxing Council, the World Boxing Association. Okay? That's why they call them that, the World Boxing Organization. They're different, they're called different world, but they all start with world because boxing is a world sport. It's not a nation sport. It's not like NBA. It's not like NFL or NLB, right? Or NBL, rather. Mr. Dyslexic over here. Fury's the best heavyweight in the division. Okay. See, I like when people say that type of stuff because it only leaves room to prove it. Because I want to remind you guys of something that just happened about 3 weeks ago, right? Remember when Tyson Fury went on and said, well, I don't know what's going on with the WBC. I hope they make it quick, fast, in a hurry so we can get on with it. You guys remember that? I mean, don't we remember him just saying, I don't know what's going on with the WBC and Dillian White? Jamie, counterpunch to you. Renee Padilla. What's up, Kurt? God bless you. In Jesus Christ's name. And counterpunch to you. It's been a while. Counterpunch to you, Renee. God bless you as well. I hope you're doing well. Belts do matter because champions are always, remember, especially champions who defended their multiple times. Yeah, well, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about when things get weird, when fighters don't get just due, when organizations decide to do things that really don't make sense. That's what I'm talking about. See, I think, like the WBC, they must be held accountable. See, you can't tell me all this time that these guys didn't let Dillian White fight because it was some kind of mishaps with somebody else. I don't believe that. I think they purposely did that because they didn't want Dillian White to be at a certain forefront. Let's hit that like button. Tyson Fury is #1 of the world. All those idiots saying 40 million step aside. Hearn even laughed at that figure today. It's a lot of money, man, to be stepping aside. But you do remember that the same shit came up about Deontay Wilder. You remember Deontay Wilder? Belts make champions, but they need one belt. Make up and New World Order figure. Oh, make up a New World Order belt. Well, I don't know if you want to call it New World Order, though. Because that kind of sounds weird or suspect. New World Order. WNO. This supersedes anything. But understand, that's going to be hell to pay. Because a lot of people and a lot of organizations, they funnel money into these sanctioning bodies. And then when these sanctioning bodies find out that they're no longer valid due to a new ruling that supersedes all of them, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. All of those cats are going to get together and either try to sue this new sanctioning body or kill whoever's, in ahead. Wouldn't that be some shit? It'll be Dana White. Dana White, Vice President Floyd. Oh, nah, that wouldn't happen. Hello, Kurt. To be recognized champion, you gotta win those belts. Yeah, but you have so many belts, and then they just started creating belts on top of more belts on top of more belts. The WBO belt 30 years ago didn't exist. The WBC belt was created about 50 years ago from Muhammad Ali. So at a certain point, I think these belts were created at some point because of a particular fighter that made it what it was, or that inspired the belt or the organization to be created. Kurt, what kind of necklace is that? Oh, this is a Caravaca cross. It's a Spanish cross. Of course, belts make champions. Well, you sure the belts make champions, or the champions make the belt? They could win the belt, but what do you remember when someone has the belt? You're going to remember what? Who they fought, right? You're not going to remember, oh man, he got the WBO belt, I can't remember the name. You know what I mean? You remember the name, or you remember the fight at least. If you don't remember the name, if you're bad at names, If AJ beats Usyk, otherwise he isn't in the combo. And that's true. Joshua has Usyk problems. Joshua lost them damn belts, and he lost them twice. So he has problems keeping his kingdoms intact. See, that's a lot to fight for. You've gained all those damn belts, and then you look around, you don't have any. It's a hard pill to swallow, dude. And you know what? There's a lot of pressure on that cat, too. I see Rockman was undisputed, but you can't say that he is the top 100 of all time. Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because he didn't beat Lennox Lewis again. Okay? He didn't beat Lennox Lewis again. He didn't defend the belts with anybody. He knocked out Lennox Lewis, and then he got knocked back out by Lennox Lewis. So that's what happened. He didn't defend anything. He will be that guy that knocked out Lennox Lewis. Him and Oliver McCall. But when Oliver fought him, he wasn't a champion. White needs some step-aside money, too. Graham Taylor, salute to you. Evening, Kurt. Hope you and the fam well, brother. What are you saying on Conor Ben versus Victor Ortiz if when he gets past Algieri? That'd be a good fight. Virgil Ortiz he's a tough mother sucker. You know, Nigel Ben's good. Is he better than Virgil Ortiz? I don't know. It's going to be a good fight. If I was looking at both of those guys now, I would go for Virgil Ortiz because, you know, he's been in there with the better opposition. He's been tested, you know, because Algieri's not a test, bro. Algieri's a boxer that has very limited power. So you don't prepare yourself for Ortiz fighting a Chris Algieri, bro. I'm sorry, that ain't gonna work. Bigger upset Buster Douglas or Hasim Rahman? Brandon, you know that's Buster Douglas. See, Lennox Lewis already had one loss, and plus people didn't like Lennox Lewis. Let's be real. Nobody liked Lennox Lewis. I mean, you had to respect him because you knew he was a good fighter, but he really wasn't a popular heavyweight, especially in the Americas over here. Now they cared about Lennox Lewis. They knew, you know, the hardcore boxers knew he was this and that, but I personally didn't like him. I didn't like Lennox Lewis. And Lennox was just like, but I mean, he would beat you down. He had skill. You could tell he had punching power. He was a big bastard, you know. But he had it all. Lennox Lewis had it all. As far as weaponry, he had it all. But it is what it is. Fury is a paper champ. He's Canadian anyway. He's actually Jamaican. He was Jamaican and he fought for Canada, and then he decided to relocate to Britain because Britain, he wanted to make more euros than, you know, euros and pounds were a lot more than Canadian money and definitely Jamaican money. He wanted some quid. That's what he wanted. He wanted some quid. Lennox Lewis was a real smart boxer, but no, Lennox Lewis will beat your ass. That's the thing about Lennox Lewis. He's not gonna play with you. Lennox gets like he's gonna. If you see Lennox turn into shots, he punches through people when he used to fight. You don't want to get hit by Lennox Lewis, bro. I'm gonna tell you that. Lennox Lewis will beat you, and he's in a fight. Look, and it's not like it's weird though. Lennox Lewis was weird. He had like a kind of put you in the mind of Dillian White. Like he had a type of chin that he could take certain shots from certain people. He took David Tua, he took Shannon Briggs, he took Evander Holyfields. He took a lot of these people's punches. But it's that certain punch he got hit with. If he got hit with it, he was out, snoring, sleep, drooling. He was out. Oliver McCall had it straight right. Hasim Rahman had it straight right. So it's the straight right for Lennox Lewis. He was born in West London and lived there since he was 12. Yeah, his people were from Jamaica though. So he, you know, a lot of times kind of like he's British, but why did he went for Canada? I don't know why the hell he went for Canada's Olympic team, but that's what he did. Will you do the Floyd? Lennox Lewis. Yeah, Lennox Lewis tried to school people on educating people on the floating rib shot. If you guys don't know about the floating rib shot, that's exactly what Lennox Lewis said when Alexander Flores jumped to the damn canvas. He was like, yeah, everybody, yeah, you guys just gotta learn about the floating rib shot. Yeah, that's what that was. See, it was clear as day. The floating rib shot, man. The fuck is the floating rib shot? Never knew that. I used to see him in Toronto all the time. Lennox Lewis and Tyson Fury are in the top 3 of all time. Well, Lennox Lewis, yeah. Why Lennox Lewis over Tyson? I don't know about all time. Lennox Lewis is all time because he's done what he's done in the sport. He's kicked enough ass. He's had people ran from him because he kicked the ass so bad before. He knocked out Mike Tyson. He beat up Evander Holyfield twice. Okay. The 2 losses he avenged. Vitaly Klitschko, he got in a bucket entanglement with him. They had one big hellified shit show. Good fight though. What else? Who else? I mean, he beat everybody's ass up until that point. You know, Riddick Bowe, he beat Riddick Bowe so bad in the Olympic trials that Riddick didn't even want to fight him as a professional. Let's be real. So, would you see Fury as lineal? No, because he didn't fight Vitaly. He fought Vladimir, and then he didn't defend him. But if Tyson wanted to be like an all-time great, just beat everybody around you and then defend your belts. See, the belts do mean something, but the belts only mean something, people, when you are doing what you're supposed to be as a champion. See, in other words, if you get a belt and then you turn into an asshole, you don't want to fight nobody, you know, their rules are getting dumber and dumber, it's hard to respect the sanctioning body at that point. Like, why would you respect, like, the WBC, for example? It's getting harder and harder to respect that organization because that organization always comes up with contradicting things that doesn't make sense, or something that comes and views as favoritism. So if Tyson Fury, yeah, you got the WBC, okay. Because even when he took them from Vlad, he didn't fight Vlad again. See, for all we know, if it wasn't for the drunkenness and the booze and the coke and the whatever, and he would have went out there, then who knows? Vladimir probably would have beat Tyson Fury the second time. But that fight didn't happen. So then he didn't defend anything, any of the belts. The IBF stripped him 15 days later anyway. So none of that shit was like, he got him, then he didn't defend him. And then, listen, when Vlad got retired, the heavyweight division became really weak. Why? Because Vlad was gone. We looked at it like a new glimmer of hope. It was almost when Fidel Castro died. It was like, okay, well, maybe, you know, this shit will be back. But then, no. You had a guy that fought nobody, and then you had another guy that started getting belts, AJ. AJ started fighting guys. He was the known guy because he retired Klitschko and all that. But then you had, on the America side, you had Deontay Wilder not getting the fights either he wanted or not allowed to have. So you had a lot of bullshit. Shannon Briggs, let's go, champ. It's a Caravaca cross, bro. It's a crucifix, but it's a Caravaca. It's a Spanish cross. Vlad had that style, jab and grab. I hated that style. I still do. That damn jab and grab. You miss with a jab, so you cuff the fighter to keep him in that position. So you miss, and then you grab him, so you cuff him. I don't like that at all. Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios next. Mario Barrios, well, he's went up to welterweight. I guess. I mean, he's tall enough to. I mean, that's not a fight that I'm really excited about. But you have to remember something too. As far as Keith Thurman is concerned, Keith Thurman is a guy that needs a tune-up. And that guy is definitely a tune-up. He's going to go over there and get his ass whooped by Keith Thurman. He has skill. Will I watch it? Yeah, I'll watch it. Chick Ciccarelli coming in with that 20 pounds for the community and always keeping me up to date on the latest headline. Plus Uncle C. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah. Adrian is easy work. Keith Thurman knocks out Barrios easy. But then that's a good comparison because, see, we know what Tank did to Barrios. You know Tank's gonna, he just leave my leftovers. He ain't forced his Pacquiao beat him. He ain't forced his Pacquiao beat him. He need to get his numbers up. Kirk, you think Fury will man up and fight Dillian White? Tony, I hope so. I mean, at this point, it's really all up to him anyway. You know, you can't, but you can't talk all that shit and not back up though. Wait, yes you can, because this is boxing at the end of the day. Oliver McCall was better than Lennox. It was not luck. He was just crazy. Oliver McCall's a bad mother sucker, man. I've seen footage of Oliver McCall and Mike Tyson spar, and Oliver McCall was getting into his shit. Oliver McCall, drugs, or should I say substance abuse. You know, I think maybe Oliver McCall took a bad drug and he had a bad trip. If Keith beats Barrios, he will face Terence Crawford in July, says Blue Blood. I hope so. I hope Blue Blood's right. Because, I mean, Terence Crawford now fighting Keith Thurman. You know what that shit'll mean? That means that if Terence Crawford fights Keith Thurman and beats and knocks out Keith Thurman, that will be an opponent. Understand this. That will be an opponent that Errol Spence chased for like 3 years. Errol Spence chased him for 3 years. Terence Crawford chased him for damn near 3 years. So it would be another one. You know, and then at that point it would let me know that Al Heyman is saying, fuck it, cash all these guys out. I've made them enough money. They got a new star in the division. And see, you have to look at the big picture. The big picture is Floyd Money Mayweather may just start working, quote unquote, with Terence Crawford. He's a free agent. Have you noticed Floyd out of the blue? I think the best fighter in the world right there, the best fighter in the world right now is Terence Crawford. I always said he could fight like hell, but I think he's better. I've been telling him to come work with me. I've been telling him to come work with me. I'm not trying to steal fighters. Yeah, so that, you think Floyd ain't he's dissing Canelo and up in Terence Crawford. You think that shit ain't a coincidence? And think about this. When Floyd schooled Canelo, what was he saying about Canelo? He's going to be champion one day. He's going to be the future of boxing. Didn't he or didn't he not say that? Now he's just trashing Canelo out of the blue. I told him, why ain't we talking about him cheating? Why ain't we talking about him cheating? Why ain't we talking about him cheating? But when he whooped his ass, he's going to be the boxing. So he endorsed Canelo, bro. But all of a sudden, now he's upping Terence Crawford and blasting Canelo. That's not by coincidence. See, this is what I think. I think Sean Porter was appreciate the $5 super chat, James West, blessed from the best. Bars. I think what happened, they're seeing that Terence Crawford is that guy they need to finally start endorsing. Errol Spence, he's not, because Errol Spence is damaged, bro. We don't know if his eye is okay. And you know Terence Crawford, bro, look what he did to Kell Brooks. Kell Brooks' eye was all fucked up, right? Kell Brooks took his third ass beating, and they were all from savages. Think about it. Gennady Golovkin, savage. Errol Spence, savage. Terence Crawford, savage. Look, I don't know, man. And I think they're looking at it like, look, Bob's on his way out, or he's on his way out with Bob. I don't know. Bob's an alien. So, but Terence Crawford is ascending. He's transitioning away from Bob. He's gone. He's gone. So they already know that. So Floyd, he knows. He wants to work with Terence Crawford, especially in the glory years of his career. See, Terence Crawford ain't got time to fuck around. He's 34 years old. He'll be 35. So if a super fight don't happen right away, that's what it's going to be. Understand this also. Errol Spence is 31. See, Errol Spence has time to heal. He has time to grow. You know, maybe put him in some classes with substance abuse and shit like that, because he may need it. You know, he may be kind of hooked on that bottle, fucking around with Adrian Broner and company. You know, bro, I never realized how much Floyd said until you started emphasizing it. He does. That's how he bridges words. Look, a lot of people do it. It's funny when a person goes, because when they talk fast. If you look at Floyd's eyes, he's very attentive. That motherfucker has like these sharp glaring eyes, but he's like he ticks. You know what I mean? And it's funny because when someone's talking, it's like, okay, Sugar Ray Leonard talks fast. You know, I get him in the ring, and Sugar Ray Leonard. Floyd talks fast, but he has to think about it. And sometimes he says the right thing, and then he thinks about it, so he has to say it again. I'm already a good fighter. Floyd, you just said that. I know, but I'm just telling you, I'm the best, and you can keep the rest. So, like, that's what makes Floyd funny when he talks, because he talks so fast because he's so damn confident, so damn cocky. So when he does speak, he says it, and then I guess his mind, like, before his mind can compute, like, dude, I said that right, so I'm gonna say it again because I said that right, because I wasn't sure that, because it came out so fast. So I'm gonna say it again. I move whenever I want to move. But you know, he got that fierce gaze, so he got to keep, you know, I move whenever I want to move. Belts don't make me. And think about it. Somebody like Floyd, though, can totally make this conversation credible. Think about it. The conversation at hand is, what's more legitimate, the fighter or the belt? Floyd didn't become undisputed. He was just undefeated. He just made more money than anybody else. Right? Floyd could say, you know what? Fuck all them belts. I don't know if you guys remember, like late 2013, when Manny Pacquiao became the mandatory for Floyd Mayweather. It was just like this big deal. You know, this is before they fought, right? I think it was maybe late 13 or 14. And that shit still didn't happen, did it? It didn't happen until he wanted it to happen. Steven Espinosa got together with some bartender or some shit. It was a long, drawn-out story, like some, I don't know. It was like some Great Escape shit, but, you know, it is what it is. I think what they're trying to do, speaking of Floyd's trying to get Terence Crawford over to the PBC, or with Mayweather Promotions in conjunction with something else. Maybe Terence Bud Crawford, if he has his own company, they'll probably do that. And then what Bud will do, he'll probably use Floyd to promote his fights, just like Floyd used to do Oscar. Remember when Oscar used to put on Floyd's fights? That's how that worked. Floyd and Oscar De La Hoya they became partners. Not as much as him and Bernard Hopkins, but yeah, Golden Boy Promotions put on Floyd's fights, and he promoted the fights. So for Floyd. But so, like, if you become a guy past, like, the stratosphere, just like it said, like, Terence Crawford is one of the pound for pound best fighters. I think pound for pound, which holds no belts at all, that's just reputation. Man, who's the baddest pound for pound fighter in the world? And then you go down the list. You know, you got Canelo, you got Terence Crawford. You know, you had like Lomachenko back in the day before he lost to Teofimo. Those kind of guys. You know, you like Usyk, and those guys have those belts or had these belts to show whatever, and those are kind of accolades and stuff. You know what I mean? But they're accomplishments. But how big of an accomplishment are they if you're a champion and nobody knows who you are? Like Floyd says, we don't even know who the fuck you are. We don't even know who the fuck you are. Who the fuck are you? Shane Mosley. We don't even know who the fuck. Right? So I think marquee value, talent, I think that supersedes belts. You know what I mean? Let's put it this way. Was it Crawford Horn, or was it Horn Crawford? Think about it. Was it Crawford Horn or Horn Crawford? Can anybody tell me that? AJ paid extra for rematch clause. Fury will do the same. Well, if Fury puts in a rematch clause against Dillian White, that shows that he's concerned with Dillian White, and it's a good business move, because Dillian White could knock you the fuck out, and then everybody will be like fucking Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't be surprised. This is heavyweight boxing, dude. Tyson Fury, we've seen Tyson Fury get hit with punches he ain't supposed to get hit with. Tyson Fury, I think I heard Showbiz the adults say today, Tyson Fury can beat Tyson Fury. I think anybody can lose focus and get knocked the fuck out, and because they lost focus due to arrogance or whatever they're not focused on what they're supposed to do, they can get knocked out. And I think Dillian White could knock out Tyson Fury. Get this. Because here's the thing, if Dillian White hurts Tyson Fury, that would be different if Deontay Wilder did. Wilder is a powerhouse puncher, but he doesn't put punches together well. That's why when he hurt Tyson Fury, he could never really close the deal or close the show, because it was always something that was what was missing out of Wilder's repertoire in order to close fights. You have to be a good closer. But see, Dillian White will hit you. He'll keep hitting you and like go to school on you. It's a difference on how people hurt you, hit you, and hurt you. See, let's say Joshua hurt Fury. Joshua, well, see, when you say Joshua, it's kind of hard, isn't it? Because you don't know what fucking Joshua's going to show up. But Joshua of old, if he hurt Tyson Fury, oh, he's going to find a way to put together a barrage of punches to take Fury out, either to put him down again or to ultimately, right, get the referee or the corner to stop the fight. So at the end of the day, that's what we have. White will give Fury his biggest purse in front of the biggest crowd. But if White knocks out Tyson Fury, do you know what that means? White is the guy, and he will be the star, and he will get the respect that he should have gotten. People, then you'll hear people like Deontay Wilder knock on the door. If you really want to fight me, I'm ready. And then see someone like Dillian White. We already know Dillian White's kind of bitter. Dillian White's bitter about a lot of shit. I'd actually be saying Dillian White would beat Tyson Fury whenever they finally meet up. I said that 2 years ago. I still believe it today, based on, it's crazy. Karn, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Some Crawford versus Horn promos, posters swap. Both fighters imagine images first, just look like Google. No, it was Crawford Horn. It wasn't Horn Crawford. But here's what I'm saying. If it really mattered, if the belts really mattered that much, you would have Horn Crawford, not Crawford Horn. So that argument between belts versus fighters, who makes them? I think the fighters make them. I think the fighters make them. But if you're under a certain level of legitimacy or like fame or notoriety, I think then the belts, you are hide more behind the belts versus anything else. But if you knock out enough motherfuckers, that belt that you have will be not really what people look at. They'll be looking at you as a particular fighter or as a particular talent. Yeah, you'd be champion and this, that, and the other, but I think that's just trinkets at this point. I think at the end of the day, I think it's the fighters that make those belts. If Muhammad Ali wouldn't Muhammad Ali, the WBC wouldn't be any. The WBC wouldn't be shit right now. So that's what I feel about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, but don't be surprised if Blue Blood Sports TV is right about his prediction with Terence Crawford and Keith Thurman. That'll be a good fight. I would always like to see that fight because Keith Thurman has a different style. He doesn't fight like any of those guys that he fought, and it would be another challenge. And I would like to see how Terence Crawford deals with another puzzle. WBO is going under. Cambosos versus David next. Tank just dropped his. Yeah, I heard about Tank. I heard about Tank dropping that belt, but what was the legitimacy of that belt? It didn't do shit for him. It didn't do shit for him. And see, that's another thing. When he went to 140, he fought Mario Barrios. Okay, he fought him and beat him. Well, they shut down any talks of him advancing at 140. They didn't talk about Regis Prograis. They didn't talk about Ramirez. They didn't talk about none of these motherfuckers. I'm like, yo, what's the deal? You know what I mean? Like, what's really happening? What's really going on? What are you guys doing? You know? So him dropping the WBA doesn't mean anything to me because he wasn't doing anything up there anyway. You know what I'm saying? Manny, counterpunch to you. White will KO early. Will do KO early though. I just want to see the fight because that's going to be a big build-up fight. It's a huge fight. It's a huge UK fight. You know, for all bad things, some good things do come. For the things that you think that you're going to get, you don't get. And some things that you should get, sometimes you get. And this is a fight that we should get. Okay? Let's hope it finally happens. And Mauricio Suleiman can stop all the malarkey. You know what I mean? Because he could have put his foot down and, Tyson, I mandate you to fight Dillian White because he is champion of interim and you need to fight him. I am tired of you need to fight him. Tank will never fight Taylor, Prograis, Ramirez. Well, what is he there for? What the fuck he go there for? You know what I mean? So I think Tank said he was a lot like Canelo because I think what he tried to mirror what Canelo did or whatever. Or maybe they tried that. Maybe they thought that was a good idea. Let's go to a new weight class and fight the weakest person, but don't go back there. But we could just claim, well, we fought at 140. Oh, good for you. You fought the weakest link up there. It might look good, but it's really nothing. It's really smoke and mirrors. You know? So you don't know if it's a challenge until you find out it's not a challenge. You know? Leo Santa Cruz did better than Mario Barrios to me. Oh God, come on. Now you show up. No, normally we're here all day. Oh, that's why you stopped me? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I stopped for the speed bump here. Okay. I'm headed for the film production. Okay. All right. That is what you call a fucking stickler, guys. Those are the people you hate. It was a speed bump. Normally that's closed because we don't own it, but we're renting this whole park area. And it's like, it's a speed bump. And nobody's hardly ever there. They're hardly never there. Then he was there that one time. Oh! I'm like, okay, I stopped. Well, you need to stop at the stop stickler. Fucking drag him out and shoot him. That's what I feel about. That's a stickler. When you have people, was that Babylon? No, that was just some fucking stickler that does nothing to do with his time. Well, you need to stop at the stop sign. Why would I stop when there's no reason to fucking stop at the stop sign? You fucking idiot. But where are you going? Fuck out of here. See, that shit really boils me. That makes my blood boil. Because this guy, they're normally never there. Because we film we've been here since 4 in the morning. And we probably will be here till probably 6 or 7 tonight. But nothing's there. And I'm thinking, well, maybe you got to check in or something like that. No. You ran the stop sign after hitting the speed bumps. Yeah, because the speed bumps are to slow down. I wasn't going fast, you fucking dipshit. But anyway, that's crazy. Crazy, man. No, he's gonna get his ass shot. Not fucking. No, that motherfucker tased me, I'm gonna shoot him. He doesn't know me. I'm gonna shoot. Ah! Bow! Oh! And then the first thing they say, oh shit, Kirk shot a fucking park security guy, dude. But anyway, yeah, rant's over. But yeah, that was unnecessary back there. When you unnecessarily do shit, that's. I'm like, you called me back for that fucking stop sign, dude? We're in a park. You got a speed bump before, then you got a speed bump after. Fuck on. But anyway, that was crazy. That was funny anyway. But gun with blanks. Yeah. Okay. Okay, London. This is not the UK, bud. This is America. We don't walk around with guns with blanks. But let's see. Top flight. Yeah, he was top flight. Hey! Like, come on back here. Like, damn, do I need clearance to come in here? I've been coming through here all day. What film? It's a television show, actually, man. Fear of the Walking Dead. So this is like the second to the last week of that show. So we're finishing it out. It's a long fucking drooling show, and I will be glad when it is done. But I think when back to boxing, before I wrap this up, because I really got to go, I think boxing, when you have fighters, I think at a point when you reach your stardom, belts should aid you, they should help you, but they don't make you at all. Certain people will always have to live up to the belt because their name will never catapult. Okay, so because their name will never catapult, they will only be as good as the accomplishments or the trinkets that you call championship belts. But anyway, guys, it's been great. I thank you guys for coming on. I thank you guys for witnessing that fuckery back there with me. I will be going live tonight, hopefully, if I don't get off too late, so we can discuss Deontay Wilder and his retirement fund. So stay tuned for that. That should be fun. But anyway, God bless you guys. Hope you guys have a great day. Be safe. And all of you been counterpunched. Peace!